On Friday, the Fisheries, the Ministry of Agriculture launched an aquaponics facility and hydroponics facility. And also, Mr. Prosper would like to speak to you about the launch of agricultural insurance. Mr. Prosper, are you ready?
Good morning, everybody. Let me wish everyone a pleasant Monday. I am here to report on a few developments in the agricultural sector in the last few days and in the next few days. But I want to start by indicating that we commissioned the Agricultural Innovation and Entrepreneurship Facility, and that is a hydroponic system that's established at Union. And it's basically a simple system of producing leafy vegetables without any use of soil. It's just basically growing those seedlings or plants in a water-based solution mixed with nutrients, and it produces a number of leafy vegetables. This is an initiative that was a vision by the Prime Minister, where he engaged the government of Guyana, and when he saw what was happening there, he advised that I lead a small delegation there in 2023, and we saw what was happening. It was basically a set of shade houses that includes hydroponic systems, but what was happening was a number of young persons, youth, who've been trained in that facility, and what they would do is after they've trained for a period of time, maybe 6 weeks minimum, they would go in and establish or begin their small business in agriculture, whether it's sales of chemicals, whether it's cut flour. So we think that was a very good model for us to replicate in St. Lucia. And thanks to the government of Guyana, the president to be exact, for making available $144,000, where we started with 2 of the structures, and we are hoping that we will get some more structures in the coming months. We are now producing lettuce, celery, pak choy, and the 2 shade houses has a capacity of 3,100 seedlings. So we are hoping that that will help us solve the problem of unavailability of leafy vegetables, and for us to reduce on the imports of those items, especially considering the high imports by those leafy vegetables by the hotels and other private individuals. We are hoping that we can make a big dent in reducing the imports of those. Fortunately for us, we had a first harvest, I think 4 weeks ago, and Marketing Board absorbed all of what was produced, and so it makes it easy for us to be able to plant and actually distribute for the market. I'm very proud of that, but the objective of it, I want to be clear, is to provide young persons with a dedicated space to explore and engage with modern agricultural practices, to encourage the integration of modern agriculture into school-based assignments and project work. We want to be able to encourage the students, the SAFLW students and the secondary students, to do the SBAs using that facility, because there is a lot to learn. It's a new technology, and I believe it is an opportune time for the young people to capitalize and take advantage of it, because this is the direction we want to see agriculture. We want to move agriculture into a direction where climate change will have little or no impact on the sector, and it's by building resilience, adopting climate-smart agricultural practices, and we believe that is where we want to encourage the young people to go. We want to inspire the next generation to view agriculture not as an occupation of the past, but as a viable, forward-looking career path, equipped with the tools, knowledge, and support to succeed. We are seeing the emergence of an aging farmer population. A lot of our farmers are in the 60s, 70s, and we need to encourage the young people to come in, because as they leave the sector, if you do not have young people being attracted to the sector, we will have a major gap. in agriculture, which will affect our food security. So this new technology is one of many that we are implementing, and I do hope we will see a number of young persons using this facility to get an interest in agriculture, to get trained in agriculture. Now, the good thing about the system is anyone can have that system established in their backyard because it does not require too much space. It can be of a particular size, whether it's 10 feet by 10 feet or 20 feet by 10 feet. But it can be done right there in your backyard, and it is not very costly. So one of the things that we want to do is to encourage persons to do that, because it is a form of using agriculture or establishing agricultural small facilities like this right there in your backyard, in your veranda, outside of your veranda, etc. So I'm very happy that this was done, and I want to thank the President of Guyana for making this happen. Secondly, on Friday, in the next 4 days, we are going to launch an insurance program for all banana and plantain farmers. We are going to have a big launch on Friday, and that is a significant step in the agricultural sector, because we know we are facing the hurricane season. We are actually in the hurricane season, and you don't know when a natural disaster would hit our farmers. And our banana and plantain farmers are the most vulnerable. Any wind, strong winds would cause collapse of those plants, that's banana and plantain. And we think it is timely, because in recent years, we've seen major shocks in the banana and plantain sectors because of natural disasters. Just last year, we had a serious problem with black Sikatoka, and our government had to assist the farmers. Previous to that, we had a major problem with unavailability of boxes to export by our bananas, and our government came in and actually provided support. In 2023, we had a tropical storm in June, and our government had to come in to assist the farmers. The commencement of an insurance scheme for farmers will reduce governments, having to find the resources, financial resources all the time. Our farmers, banana farmers and plantain farmers, are expected, if there is any major natural disaster this year, they would have been covered by being able to at least receive some form of compensation from that insurance. Now, the reason why we've started with the banana and plantain farmers, we only have 1 million EC that was allocated to insurance for the sector. When we looked at coverage for the entire sector, which includes banana, plantain, vegetable, livestock farmers, we realized that it was not sufficient to do that. But we believe that with banana and plantain farmers being most vulnerable, we decided to start with them. And we are hoping that we will continue to expand the program to involve every other stakeholder in the sector. But it would mean that government on its own would not be able to sustain the actual payment of the premium, and we are hoping that farmers and all the stakeholders will be more than willing to make a contribution towards that so that we can expand it. Just last week, Wednesday, we provided more support to our farmers. We now know that we are in the rainy season, and the wheat growth is actually a major problem for our farmers, especially banana and plantain farmers, and we were able to distribute 1 liter per acre to every banana and plantain farmer in St. Lucia. We also made available to them what we call the spray oil. That is the oil that deals with the black Sikatoka disease, and we give all farmers the oil free of charge. I just want to inform the farmers, from what I was told, we have oil available for the rest of this year that will be made available to farmers free of charge. So I just wanted to report on those free activities. And there is a new development for the fishery sector. I just want to mention that the government of St. Lucia was able to procure funding from the Green Climate Fund in the tune of 45.2 million EC dollars for a project in the fishery sector called Fish Adapt. This project is going to address, hopefully, a number of issues in the fisheries sector. For example, safety at sea, insurance for the fishers. We are looking at the grade of the fisheries facilities and a number of other areas with regards to aquaculture that we think is going to boost our food security. And I'm very happy for the next 5 years, we will be investing in the fisheries subsector 45 million EC dollars thereabout to really address the ongoing challenges and problems in the sector. So I just felt that it was necessary for me to mention that because I think it is a very, very good thing for the development of the fisheries sector. We are now working on an implementation program for what we call our food production plan 2025-2030. We believe, and I'm very convinced that we can reduce drastically our food import bill, and based on the imposition of tariffs that was mentioned by the US, we are putting together a plan of action to help boost our food production locally, and we are focusing on crops like cassava, sweet potato, ginger, plantain, that we think we can expand by a number of acres, and so that will help reduce our food import bill. We have 600,000 EC dollars, for a farm labor program. I'm sure you recall under the UBEC program, we had a farm labor program last year where we employed 115 workers to provide assistance to farmers because a lot of the farmers are concerned about the availability of farm labor. And as you know, that's a very important component in agriculture. So we are hoping that we can begin that program on the 1st of August to provide further farm labor assistance to our farmers. So there is a lot to speak in agriculture, and we will continue to provide that level of support as a government to our farmers because we believe it is very significant, it is critical, it is timely, and if we have to reduce our food import bill and remain a food-secure St. Lucia, we must provide that level of support. So I just wanted to mention that and thank you for listening.
President, where are we in banana exports on dashing?
Well, we are doing well with dashing. We have a market for dashing in Canada. What we do not have is the consistency in availability. So I remember Honorable Emma Hippolyte providing some financial assistance to, I think, 60 or 65 dashing farmers in Fonce-Jacques. And the whole idea was for them to take or capitalize on the fact that we have a market available. That market is available, and we are working with the St. Lucia Marketing Board to actually do the exporting of the dashing. But what is happening is that for a particular period of time, you get a consistent supply, but afterwards, it is not available. What I want to see happen is for us to have it on a more consistent, sustainable basis, because the market will not be holding your hands. If they are requesting, let's say, a container every week, and we're not getting the container every week, you get it once a month, twice a week, and so on. It has to be consistent. So I just want to let you know we have a market available, but it's just that we do not have the consistency in supply to meet the market demands.
And the banana exports?
Now the banana exports in the region, as I tell you, as you know, we have the Caribbean is our only market now. But what I think is a major problem is there is a particular time of year, let's say between beginning of November to end of January, production is usually extremely high, and the market cannot really absorb all what is being produced during that time. But there is also another issue with transportation. The shipping line that is available for the Caribbean is mainly, I forget the name of the ship. And that ship, because of its route from the Caribbean and the US, it does not actually get to all of the regions or the countries that actually needs it. So, for example, 2 weeks ago, I met the second vice premier of St. Martin, and she was telling us that they are in high, they really need our bananas. They actually import bananas. And I was saying to her that we can supply as much as the bananas that they need. But the issue is that the ship or the boat that takes our produce from there does not get to St. Martin. There was also another person, a buyer in St. Thomas, who wanted to purchase our bananas, but he wanted it within 3 to 5 days. But the route, the shipping line, the route will get it there in 10 to 11 days, and by that time you can have serious issues with quality, pre-ripening, etc. But we have a good market in the region, which I think if we really capitalize and come together. But the other thing is we have in St. Lucia is the division. You have about 6 or 7 exporters of bananas, but I've been trying to get them under one umbrella. Because at the end of the day, we have to produce a fruit of high quality, but we must also be consistent in our supply. And that is why the Barbados market sometimes has issues, because the demand weekly is not always available. And when they cannot get what is required from St. Lucia, they have to go to Suriname and other countries. I believe we need to come together, look at the market in Trinidad, look at the market in St. Kitts and so on. And we exporters come under one umbrella and say, if our demand for bananas weekly to all those markets is, let's say, 10,000, we should be able to come together and find a way to be able to reach out to all those markets. At the end of the day, it's our bananas, it's about St. Lucia, it's about a country, it's about the livelihoods of the farmers, but it should not be segregated. And that is my biggest worry. But we are working on that. And the NFTU, National Fair Trade Organization, is working with a company in Matnik, and that company has indicated that they are more than willing to purchase our bananas. But those bananas have to be of a standard, quality and otherwise, and it has to be on a consistent basis as well. So there are the markets, but it's just that we have to ensure that we coordinate a lot better to be able to take full advantage of those markets. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm happy you have no questions, especially my good friend.
Our second presenter, the Minister for Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs, Honorable Moses Jean-Baptiste, has an announcement.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Let me wish you and your families well. This morning, I want to make a statement on the strengthening of mental health services in St. Lucia. The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs continues to work toward the strengthening of the health sector to build resiliency, to improve the quality of care, and to utilize a comprehensive and integrated data-driven approach to the management of wellness in St. Lucia and also to the management of the ministry. Following a comprehensive review of the whole of the health system over many months, led by the Chief Medical Officer with the support of the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, one of the areas that requires urgent attention and urgent reform, as determined by the review, is the mental health services. At present, we note that mental health services require a harmonized, integrated framework at various levels of care. The insufficient coordination between the relevant agencies and institutions has severely limited the capacity for diagnosis and management of mental health conditions. Additionally, this limits the efficacy of treatment and rehabilitation of patients. In an effort to ensure a comprehensive program development, the Ministry of Health has developed associated policy recommendations to facilitate the implementation of a national mental health program in St. Lucia. In this regard, the Cabinet of Ministers has approved the creation and funding of the position of Director of Mental Health Services. This is a new position. It never existed before, and the government believes that this position is necessary. This senior technical officer will work under the guidance of the chief medical officer within the overall public health program of the Ministry of Health, Wellness, and Elderly Affairs, and will have the responsibility for the following. 1, to develop the strategic plan to integrate mental health and substance use services at all levels of care. 2, to update the mental health policy and mental health bill to include provisions for integrated mental health and substance use care. 3, to establish the consistent governance structures across all units to ensure leadership and accountability. 4, to coordinate the planning, designing, development, and implementation of mental health programs with a holistic approach and monitor and evaluate all service operations and functions. 5, to develop the framework for healthy schools through the school health desk, workplace wellness programs, and healthy homes and communities. 6, to coordinate with hospital services, whether it be public or private, community health services, the Bodily Correctional Facility, and other services to implement national mental health programs and a national mental health plan. 7, to provide technical guidance to the Bureau of Health Education and Communication, Substance Abuse Advisory Council Secretariat, and other critical units to create strategies and culturally sensitive messages to meet diverse groups in society as far as mental health is concerned. The main areas of focus include policy and governance, financial and resource sustainability, service delivery improvement, workforce development and training, community and family engagement, data collection and evaluation. We acknowledge that healthcare workers who have been providing support in mental health services over the years, we acknowledge their sacrifices and we acknowledge their work. Their hard work and dedication have not gone unnoticed. The Ministry of Health recognizes the support of the Pan American Health Organization and the French authorities, both Martinique and Guadeloupe, for their technical support in guiding the process. So once again, I wish to announce that the government of St. Lucia, the Cabinet of Ministers, the Cabinet has approved the creation and funding of the post of Director of Mental Health Services. The actual posting of a professional in this position will be announced very soon as the processes have started. Thank you.
Any questions?
Good morning, Minister, or afternoon. In St. Lucia, there seems to be a stigma around persons accessing mental health services. Are there any plans to try and break down this stigma so that when the services do become available, the public feels okay to access them?
Well, we have had mental health services in St. Lucia for a very long time, and you are very correct. There continues to be a stigma and also some levels of discrimination because of certain cultural biases and certain perceptions that people have of individuals who suffer mental illness. The ministry over the years has tried to integrate the treatment of individuals who have certain mental wellness challenges. The ministry over the years tried to integrate that treatment at the level of the wellness centers, at the level of the health centers, or at the level of the community, working with families to ensure that individuals keep to their treatment regime and also that individuals seek treatment. But what we are trying to do is to coordinate all of these activities. We have the mental wellness center. We know that we need to coordinate, and we never had a position within the ministry where one professional would be responsible for the policy direction, would be responsible for organizing all of that coordination. We have trained individuals, nurses, for example, and doctors, professionals who are trained. We do have individuals, of course, we need many more, and we are hoping to train even more professionals in this whole mental wellness field. But we want to have a coordinated approach. Hopefully in the future, we can see the development of a whole department, a unit and then a department to deal with mental wellness issues in St. Lucia. It is, we are now looking at non-communicable diseases and mental wellness. We are putting mental wellness in almost every aspect of the ministry's work because we recognize that mental wellness is no longer an adage to health and wellness in the country, that mental wellness needs to become part of our mainstream work. And for many months, we have been working to develop policies. We've been working to fine-tune work that has been done over the years. And a lot of work has been done. We are not reinventing the wheel, just as we've done with universal health coverage. We are taking all of the lessons and all of the experiences of individuals who have worked in mental health over the decades to ensure that we give it a particular focus, we give it direction so that it becomes more mainstream.
Good morning. Similarly to my colleague's question, mental health and mental illness at one point looked one way, so people considered it, if you're seeing hallucinations, you might have a mental illness. But now the literature suggests that depression, anxiety, and all of these form part of mental illness. So what would you say to the public or someone in the public who might say, well, I'm feeling this way or this is happening to me, but I'm fine. I'll leave it alone. What do you say to that?
Well, this is what we are trying to do. We want individuals, we want St. Lucians, we want individuals to feel comfortable to access our primary care services at the wellness centers and to speak about how they feel. Many individuals interact with our mental health professionals only at a point where things have become unbearable, or only at a point where their family calls them to go to the doctor because maybe they are behaving in a particular way. We want to develop a system where individuals feel free to visit a mental health professional just to get advice, and not necessarily because they are already at a point where they are ill. And so we are trying to get it into the mainstream, so that you, just as you visit your physician to check your blood pressure, to check your heart, and to check your blood sugar level, we want to reach a stage where individuals feel free to speak to a nurse practitioner, a nurse who is a mental health practitioner or a doctor, just to talk about their life and to talk about how they feel about things, because that is certainly a very important part of health and wellness, and we want to focus on it, and we want to cause there to be some serious policies, some serious guidelines, and to have even more health professionals trained in that area.
One last thing. I think last week, the Grand Riviere Health Center, Groseille, was broken into. I understand it's about the fourth or fifth time, and that workers feel a bit anxious. What are the steps being taken to ensure that this doesn't happen again, and to, of course, address their mental illness, or their mental well-being, rather? Sorry.
Yeah, well, certainly I am aware of this situation, and we are putting measures in place to beef up security, not only in terms of human security, but cameras and other devices that will help the workers at the health center, not only that particular health center, but other wellness centers around St. Lucia. We have made an assessment, and one by one or two by two, we are putting in some measures to ensure that we cause our staff and also the clients to feel more secure. But yes, we have had some incidents of people breaking into wellness centers, and I will continue to make an appeal to the public of St. Lucia to actually protect these wellness centers. We should really be working as communities to protect our wellness centers. This is where the population, this is where we go for our health checks and to see our doctors and so on. And we should, as a community, do all that we can to protect our wellness centers. But again, we are putting in the measures. We are going to beef up security, but also to implant a number of security devices.
Mr. Health Minister, let me sit down here and ask a question. I have a question. You're the Minister of Health. You've visited the St. Jude Hospital site a few times. Is it red in color?
No, the hospital is not red in color. The hospital site has been prepared, and we are excited about this hospital being reopened to the people of St. Lucia, to the people of the South in particular. This hospital does not belong to the Labour Party or any other party. It belongs to the people of St. Lucia. And we are working very hard to ensure that we deliver the hospital to the people. So this hospital does not belong to any particular party. It belongs to the people of St. Lucia. And we will ensure that not only the structure is world-class, but also the services continue to improve so that both structure and services are world-class.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Just one before you go. How close are we to finishing the hospital? As in, around what time, maybe later this year, early next year, can the public expect to see it open?
Well, the Prime Minister has said many times, and he's on record, given the commitment of the government that the hospital will be transitioned this year. So I will repeat, we are very confident that the hospital will be transitioned this year. Yes, thanks. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have our final speaker for this afternoon, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Economic Development and the Youth Economy, also Minister for Justice and National Security. Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen of the press. As you know, the former president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, has passed away. And on behalf of the government and people of St. Lucia, I extend heartfelt condolences to the Federal Republic of Nigeria on the passing of His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, former president and head of state. Mr. Buhari served in Nigeria with conviction as the first head of state from 1984, first as head of state from 1984 to 1985, and later as a democratically elected president from 2015 to 2023. His leadership spanned critical moments in Nigeria's modern history, marked by his enduring belief in national sovereignty, public integrity, and institutional discipline. At this moment of reflection for the Nigerian people, St. Lucia stands in solemn solidarity for our African brothers and sisters, particularly those in Nigeria. We honor not only the service of a former leader, but the democratic resilience of a nation that continues to shape the destiny of the continent. As St. Lucia deepens its engagement with the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we do so with a spirit of mutual respect, shared heritage, and principled diplomacy. We extend special sympathies to the Buhari family, the people of the Kasima state, and the leadership and citizens of the Dura Emirate. May his soul rest in peace. Gentlemen, I can ask ladies questions.
Good afternoon, Prime Minister. Of course, as political leader of the SLP, over the weekend, we have seen the Castries Southeast MP Joachim Henry say that he's no longer contesting the 2026 general elections. As political leader of the SLP, would you like to provide any statements on this?
Yes. First of all, I really want to thank the Honorable Joachim Henry for his service to our party. The Honorable Joachim Henry served the party in the Senate, in opposition. He served the party, he ran elections once, and after the processes of the party were put into effect, he was chosen as the candidate for the Southeast Castries seat, after he'd lost the previous election. He won, and we are very pleased that he won. I appointed him a minister after he'd been in the Senate, and he served as a minister with conviction. Our party has processes, and the processes of the party are agreed to by everyone who joins our party. Everyone who joins our party has subjected itself to the processes. And the processes, in the case of the Castries office, have been effected, and Senator Lisa Joahil is the endorsed candidate for the Castries Southeast constituency, and Mr. Danny Butcher is the endorsed candidate for the Vieux-Fort South constituency. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, these are going to be the two candidates contest the elections for the St. Lucia Labour Party. I want to thank all those who raised their hands to run for our party. Our party has a number of people, in fact, scores of people who wanted to run both of these seats. But in the case of Southeast, only one person raised her hands, and in the case of Vieux-Fort South, 3 other candidates raised their hands. I want to thank them. I want to thank them for the disciplined manner in which they run their campaign. I want to thank the people of Vieux-Fort South. I want to thank the candidates. They were very, very strong candidates in Vieux-Fort South, extremely strong, credible candidates. And I'm proud that I can lead a party with such strong candidates who want to contest elections for us. I feel very proud. I feel honored. And so many people want to associate themselves with the party. But the processes have worked out, and Mr. Danny Butcher is the endorsed candidate for Vieux-Fort South, and Senator Lisa Joahil, the endorsed candidate for Southeast Castries. And barring any unforeseen circumstance, that is what's going to happen, and we're moving on to maintain and retain these seats at the next general elections.
Good afternoon, Prime Minister.
Good afternoon.
On Sunday, we would have seen some Labour Party supporters coming out to the Castries.
I did not see.
Well, on Sunday, some Labour Party supporters came out to the Castries Southeast constituency office, stating that no Joachim, no vote. What's your reaction to this?
I've no reaction. Nobody's stronger than the Labour Party. The Labour Party is older than all of us in this room, including me. And there is no one stronger than the Labour Party. The Labour Party has survived the greatest challenges. People have tried to destabilize our party. People have tried to malign our party. No one is going to hold our party to ransom. No one. The Labour Party is the party of George Charles, the party of the people of St. Lucia. The Labour Party is a party that has given the most gains to the working people of St. Lucia. Even recently, we were a party who initiated the minimum wage. So we are a party of the people. So we accept the democracy of the party, but no one, no individual, no leader is stronger than our party. And when the party's processes work, the processes will take effect. They have been tried and tested, and no one will challenge. And even no one will challenge the party when the democratic processes have been put in place. Candidate selection is a process which everyone who's joined our party is told before. The Honorable Joachim Henry won in that same process. You may recall there were challenges to him. He went through the same process and he won. I want you to recall that. There were the same challenges were set up when the Honorable Joachim Henry wanted to run a seat for us. The same process. Screening and selection. And Joachim was successful. So the party is stand by its processes.
Excuse me, sir, can you please enlighten us on the Mico South?
No, the processes. The kind of selection has begun in Mico South. The processes for Mico South have begun. And the processes will continue, and the party will have a selection.
Any more questions?
Okay?
Mr. Prime Minister, still on local politics, your opponent, the leader of the opposition, last night would have said that the St. Jude Hospital is painted red, as in to say the color of your political party, the St. Lucia Labour Party, it is not, painted red in actuality. So, and to draw back on a question I asked you last week, how would you speak to political discourse in St. Lucia right now with the spread of information, misinformation, disinformation, and that sort of thing?
You see, and I'll answer you the same way I answered you last week. I've answered you. I'll answer you again. There are too many exciting and interesting things happening in this country for me to get involved in this kind of pettiness. Too many things are happening. You can see it for yourself. Too many things are happening. This country is moving at a pace that it's almost, you can't keep up to it. So you think I want to get involved in people who speak about, I mean, you saw the hospital for yourself. You can see it for yourself. I don't know where the red is, but the red is a color. So I really I'm not getting involved in these kind of things, you understand? What I want to talk about is going forward. Right now, I want to speak about getting the stadium ready for the young people of St. Lucia. That's my focus. Hospital, near the completion, my focus now is on the stadium. So I want to make a statement on the stadium very soon. So you see, I'm focused on the development of the country. I'm not getting sidetracked with any sideshows. A lot of things happening. Rockall housing scheme. I invite you to go there probably in the next 2 weeks. You will see the starting of the lots. The ground has been prepared. The ground is prepared. They're ready for construction. I want to invite you probably next month to go and have a look at it. Talvan housing. We're going to go and have a look. Work is started. The government's housing process, housing program is coming into play. I want you to have a look at the Anchipo, the 4 blocks in the Anchipo school. So too many things are happening. Too many things are happening for me to get sidestepped with irrelevance. Question?
Yes, Mr. Prime Minister, right. On the hospital, when would your government see the completion of the...
All right. You've seen, and we're going to have hopefully, I think, because right now, the hospital is still a construction site. It's a construction site right now. So hopefully, we'll have to ask the contractor whether he can facilitate a visit from the press. The hospital's main trajectory is not only the physical buildings. If you go for yourself, you see the physical buildings almost 100% complete. It is things like the gas lines, the ancillary lines, setting up the equipment. These are the things that take time, and these are the things that we have little control over. We have supply chain issues, etc. But what I can tell you is that the equipment has begun to arrive. The equipment has begun to arrive. The contractors told me that equipment is going to be placed and tested in certain parts of the hospital very soon. We are hoping that the equipment and order arrives, but I can assure you that the hospital, work in the hospital, is moving at a rapid pace, and very, very soon, I think we can have a definitive date. But that depends basically on a lot of things that we have no control over. But I want you to invite you to the press. I want you to go back a little in your memory, and you may recall that the opposition said what they had was 6 months. I always challenge the press, because you might know that at some point in my life I worked for the press, A lot of you might know that at some point in my life I was with the press. You understand? I didn't have the luxury of a talk show where you say whatever you want for an hour, or 2. but I didn't have that luxury.
Who was your editor?
I think let me tell you the difference between me and a lot of politicians, a lot of people in Lucia. I know most of the history of the players. Let me say it again. I know most of the history of the players, the political players in the game now. I know most of their histories. I know them. You understand? So sometimes, even when they criticize me, I say, Father, forgive them, for you know not what they do. Because I carry no remorse. I mean, St. Lucia has been good to me. The people of St. Lucia have been good to me. The people of Castries East, they have selected me 6 times. How can a man who's got the confidence of the people in the constituency for 6 times, how can I have any remorse or any hatred or any envy or any malice? No. I am in this thing because the people want me. And even though you can query your own choice, might give me 3/10. But the fact is, anytime the people of St. Lucia have been called to put a confidence in me, I have been successful. My last election, I won by nearly 2,000 votes, if not too many. I intend to do better this time. The Labour Party annual conference elected me unopposed. What other honor can I want? I am just I'm just a regular person. I didn't come from my father is nothing. My father was a policeman. You understand? People dislike me for saying that. I say it again. My father was a policeman. My mother was a teacher. I haven't got any business behind my name. They say I stutter. I mean, so I'm a very contented person. I thank God and I thank the people of St. Lucia. And when the people of St. Lucia decide that they no longer want me, I will bow out humbly. But my gratitude to the people of St. Lucia will never end.
Prime Minister, I know you're laser focused on moving the country forward with all of these great policy initiatives, but you're the political leader of the Labour Party. You may have been paying attention to the developments on the opposition side. We've seen the emergence of Titus Prevail in Barbono, and we know Tommy Descartes in Castries South, and now recently Stephen Favre in Castries North. What do you make of this breed of politicians aligning themselves to Alan Chastanet and the opposition in the run-up to whenever you decide to call the election?
I wish them well. I wish them very well. And I want to tell them that politics is not always what it seems.
That seems very ominous. Lastly, Prime Minister, I heard you disappointed in the Calypso finals results.
No. The answer, the judges' decisions are final. I want to congratulate all those who took part. Very good. It was a good show. I was there. I wasn't feeling too well, so I didn't do my normal crowd because I had an appointment with the dentist the day before. So I was in pain. That's why I didn't make my normal round in the crowd. But I want to congratulate all those involved. It was a very good show. And I think Carnival is going very well. I think the level of Calypso in this country is improving all the time. And I really hope that you can come from strength to strength. I want to congratulate all of them, congratulate the winner, congratulate the runners-up, and tell them, let's continue keeping Carnival clean, safe, and enjoyable. Thank you. Thank you.